Hey guys, welcome to MNMM PTE NAATI. This is Mohit. Today's video is for Summarize Group Discussion. Now this video should only be for PTE Academic student because this topic is not for PTE Core. Before I start discussing about Summarize Group Discussion in detail, if you're after PTE Academic, PTE Core coaching or after NAATI Hindi, Punjabi, Gujarati coaching, you can simply search MNMM PTE NAATI on Instagram or Facebook. There are links to Instagram and Facebook in the description below, or the easiest option is there is a WhatsApp number available down there in the description. You can message there, have a chat with our admin, talk to one of us, and we can guide you as to how we will help you to clear these exams in your very first attempt. Now, let's start with today's video about Summarize Group Discussion. The first thing that I want to do is discuss a little bit about the background of this topic. So I like to call this topic an extended version of retail lecture. This is very similar to retail lecture in academic, PTE academic speaking section that you have your retail lecture. You know what you do in retail lecture. There is an audio, you listen to the audio, you take some notes down, and then you give your answer based on a template and the notes that you've written. Now, there is nothing different you are doing over here. You're doing something very similar, but you are doing for an extended period of time. That's it, for a longer duration. So you can always relate this topic with retail lecture and it becomes easy for you to understand how to deal with it. Okay, now Summarize Group Discussion is the second last topic out of the 7 topics in speaking section that you have in your PTE academic test. Now the question, the audio that you get, it can be up to 3 minutes, meaning the maximum length of the audio is 3 minutes. You can get an audio lesser than that. Now, what happens is after this audio finishes, they give you a preparation time of 10 seconds, which is not a lot. I will tell you what to do in those 10 seconds. And once the preparation time of 10 seconds is over, there is a beep sound. Your answering time starts, as in your microphone is now on. Whatever you say is getting recorded. Now they will give you 2 minutes to answer. But if you think about it, it is not possible to speak for 2 minutes, no matter how good you are at taking notes, because we have to understand that we give them relevant information. We can't just create fake content and just keep talking for the sake of talking. That is not good. So for this, what I would suggest is your target should be to talk for more than 1 minute. Anything more than 1 minute is good enough. If you are speaking for, let's say, 1 minute 20 seconds, 1 minute 30 seconds, that is good enough. Try not to speak for less than 1 minute. That should be your target. Now, the audio begins to play automatically after the audio finishes. We have only 10 seconds to prepare. I've already discussed that. Take notes when the audio is playing. Note taking is essential and crucial part of this topic. You have to take notes. You cannot memorize the audio for sure because it's very lengthy. Now, when the audio starts, the first thing they say is they give you a title, the scenario about that discussion, because we know that in this topic there are 3 people. They are discussing about something. It is always 3 people. It can be 3 students, friends, flatmates, anything. Okay. Now, when these 3 people are talking to each other, there is no fixed pattern that it's always, let's say, for example, A, B, and C are talking. It's not that A talks, then B talks, and then C talks, and then again A will start talking. No, there is no fixed pattern. Anybody can all of a sudden start talking. So you don't know, you can't expect that, okay, this speaker is the next person to talk. You have no idea of who is going to talk, but yes, it is a discussion happening between 3 people. You are listening to their discussion and taking notes based on the information they share, and then you are giving that information along with a template. You combine it and you present it so that you get your scores. Now, when I start taking notes for Summarize Group Discussion, the first thing I have to do is I have to make sure that I write down the title. And after the title is written, I should be targeting writing 15 phrases. Now, my phrases should be minimum 5 to 6 words long in terms of length. So I would call them long phrases. Okay. If you can manage taking more than 15 phrases because the audio is lengthy enough, go for it. Go for 16, go for 17 if you can. But your target has to be I will write down the title, plus I will write down 15 long phrases from the audio where every phrase has minimum 5 to 6 words and every phrase need to make some sense. You cannot randomly write down a phrase that has no meaning or that doesn't make any sense. We cannot do that. We need a good listening score which comes from the content, which is why we want to make sure that the phrases we give them, they have some sense. Okay. For example, let's say if I give you a big sentence, it is a bright and sunny day in Adelaide today after a week of hail and rain. Such a big sentence. Now, one might wonder, I cannot write the full sentence. I only want to write a part of it. Let's say I only want to write down, it is a bright and sunny day in Adelaide today. So roughly I've written half of the sentence. Now that some part of the sentence that I wrote is called a phrase. So you have not written the full thing, you've written some part of that sentence. That some part of a sentence, group of words, they are called phrases. Now, when I wrote it is a bright and sunny day in Adelaide today, instead of writing the full sentence, it makes sense, right? That's why I have written a meaningful phrase. So you just have to make sure that it's not that you have to write down the entire story and the entire sentence, but whatever part you select from a sentence, it should make sense. It should be from the audio. You should not paraphrase it. You should not replace the words from the audio with synonyms. You should keep them same, and the phrases you write down should make sense. Clear, everyone? This is what you need to remember about taking notes. Now, there is one thing I'll share about note taking, why people struggle in taking notes, whether it is summarize group discussion, retell lecture, summarize spoken text, why people struggle. Number one, because you are multitasking. When I am writing a phrase in my notebook, while writing a phrase, I will never listen to the audio about what is the speaker saying. I will not do it. Period. Why? Because my brain is focused on doing a task, which is writing down a phrase that made sense to me while I heard the audio. Now I'm listening to the audio and I'm confusing my brain with the content because I'm writing and listening to different things. My brain gets confused. I don't know where to stop. I don't know how to pick up a new one. I'll combine those two phrases and I'll always be frustrated with my notes. Which is why you need to keep in mind that when you have understood a phrase and you are busy writing it down, while writing it down, do not listen to the audio, ignore the speaker. When you are done with the notes, as in that particular phrase that you were writing, that's when your ears should go back to the audio. Whatever phrase or sentence is making sense to you, you pick it up and you start writing it again. This one after the other task, managing task, is going to help you to get great notes. Hopefully you've understood what I've said, and this practice of taking notes will help you to get good notes in Summarize Group Discussion. So what we do with our students is, every single student of ours, we've shared this in many videos, they all have their separate groups. Okay. For example, let's say your name is Raj. So Raj PT is a group. Now Raj PT will have Raj in it and two teachers, myself and Manmohit in it. Okay. So whatever work Raj is putting in his group, no other student can see it. Okay. That's his private space. He is free to put as much work as he can over there, and we give him a plan that this is what we expect from you on a daily basis based on your desired score and the number of hours you can invest in your studies. Now Raj will put his homework in his group and take feedback from us all 7 days a week. Every single day we give feedback, one-on-one personal feedback. So for example, Summarize Group Discussion, what I tell my students is, first 3 days, I want to see your note taking. So I give them a task of doing 4 to 5 audios in one day where you have to put your notes in your group so that I can read your notes and see if your phrases are long enough, if your phrases are making sense or not, and if you've written everything from the audio or if you've written something of your own. This thing, when I'm confident that, okay, Manmohit has checked, Mohit has checked that yes, this is looking good. That's when we give them the green signal that okay, now let's start talking about the, the answer, and we should use the template. We should speak our phrases out, and then we should judge them on the basis of their, the audios that they send. So it's step by step. That's how one achieves success. Okay. For example, let's say if you are a parent, if you have a kid in your house, or if you don't have a kid, but somebody in your family has a kid, when the kid is born, do you just tell the kid, now look, champ, you're born, go out and run? We don't care. You can't, we can't be patient enough. Just go out, get out of the house, walk, run from day one. Do you do that? No. You know that there is a process. You have to be patient. Okay, you cannot expect microwave results, as in quick instant results. That is not what you do. You know you have to have patience, because at the end there are good results. Similarly, over here, when you start practicing Summarize Group Discussion, day one, don't expect magic to happen. No. First, master note taking, then move to the next stage of how to speak your answers. That helps. It's a very organized way of expecting results, and the process helps a lot. Okay. Now, let us understand where we have to focus on: fluency, pronunciation, and content, which is very similar to every other speaking topic, but let's discuss. Okay. So, when I speak my answer, I have to be fluent. Now, fluency doesn't mean you speak at the speed of a bullet train. No, you speak at a normal speed. You are a human being, you are not a robot. Okay, so speak at a normal speed, but do not take a pause after every word or after every second, third word. Those are too many pauses, and then that is called hesitation and not a fluent speaking. If you ever get confused and you want a live example of what is fluent speaking, then whenever you are talking to anybody in your first language, maybe in your family, maybe your friends, record yourself. Just record yourself. Don't record anybody else. Record yourself for maybe 2-3 minutes when you're speaking your first language. Listen to that audio, and that is an example of fluent speaking. The confidence you have, the way you talk, you know where to stop. You know you don't have to take a pause after every word. You're not fumbling and hesitating. You're not using fillers like this after every word. That is called a fluent speaking, and the similar thing has to be done over here when we answer in PTE. Okay. Pronunciation simply means I have to be clear. Everything I say, whether it is part of your template, whether it is part of the notes that you've taken from the audio, the words need to be delivered clearly. The computer should understand what you said, so that when you speak, the computer can grab the content and you get a good score. Okay? Content. Content simply means the title you wrote, and plus the 15 phrases you wrote from the audio. That is a lot of content. So understand one thing: using the template is not a problem. Template is just there to support you, to provide you a structure, for your answer. Somebody who is only speaking templates and coming back, they are in trouble. They should not expect good results. But if you're giving them relevant content from the audio, and over here we are giving them a lot of content, we should not bother, because we will not be in trouble. Not only Manmohit and myself gave the test after 7th of August, got a perfect score, but we also have a lot of students who have already got their scores. We have perfect 90 examples already. We have people who've got 90 in speaking and listening. So we know that these templates are not the problem. They were never the problem. The problem is when you start exploiting the system. When you only use templates and come back thinking you'll get your scores, that won't happen anymore. Now we have to understand over here that the content gets humanly checked and it's random. So don't think that only if the computer is flagging your response, only then it is getting random, only then it is getting checked by human being. No, it is randomly getting picked. So you have no idea whether your response has been picked by the human being or not. So even if computer software didn't feel that you have used only a template, your response can still be picked up randomly by a human being for a check. The human being will go through the content, and if you've only spoken template or 90% of it is template with very few keywords inserted, you are in trouble, because now we know that we have 7 topics in total that are getting humanly checked, which is why we tell all our students not just to rely on the portal scores that you get and you get that confidence. You need to take feedback from your teacher. Your teacher needs to give you a green signal that yes, your response is good. It doesn't have a lot of template. This is good enough. Whether it is your speaking, describe, image, retell, lecture, summarize, group discussion, and respond to a situation, whether it is summarize written text and essay, or whether it is summarize spoken text from listening. All 7 topics, you would 100% need human feedback for them. Very important now. Gone are those days where you could only rely on a software score and have that crown over your head that I am great. No, that helps, but you need feedback from your teacher as well. Okay. The next thing I want to discuss about is very basic. You can expect 2 to 3 questions in exam, and the weightage will go to speaking and listening, just like retell lecture, because you are speaking the answer, which is combination of your template and your phrases that you have written from the audio that you heard, and listening because when you heard the audio, you've written those notes, and those notes you're reading them out. So that shows what content have you picked up from the audio. Now you can write any phrase from your audio. There is nothing like pick up or write only important phrases. No. In exam, you don't have the time to sit and judge this is important, this is not important. Do you think that when you are under that pressure and when every second counts, you will sit and think, oh, this doesn't sound important, let me not write it, I will wait for something important to come? No. Anything from the audio that makes sense can be written. You can write it and you can speak it and you will get your score. It should be from the audio. You should not paraphrase it. You should not replace it with synonyms, and it should make some sense. And you are good to go. Clear, everyone? Next thing, this is our template for Summarize Group Discussion. The link to this template will be in the description below. You can download it, keep it safe. You can write it in your notebook so that whenever you practice, you have it handy. So please make sure that you save this template, okay? So now, what I'll do is, I will play an audio for you. What you should be targeting is, you write down the title for sure, okay? That should be non-negotiable. And after writing the title, you should aim for writing 15 phrases where every phrase is around 5-6 words minimum. More than that is absolutely fine, but try not to have a phrase that is less than 5 words. And every phrase should be from the audio. You should not write anything of your own, and it should make some sense. Okay, this has to be your target. I am now going to play the audio. Please listen to it, be ready for taking notes, and please take your notes now.
3 students are gathered at a courtyard picnic table on a sunny afternoon, debating the value of mandatory group projects.
I can't stand mandatory group projects. Last semester, I was stuck doing 90% of the work while 2 teammates disappeared for weeks. I ended up pulling 2 all-nighters just to finish our presentation. It's so unfair when your grade depends on people who don't contribute.
Honestly, I feel the same. I'm a pretty organized person, but trying to coordinate schedules between 4 students who have different part-time jobs and classes is a nightmare. Someone always misses meetings, and the messaging apps just blow up with excuses. It adds so much unnecessary stress.
Actually, I think group projects are really valuable. Yeah, sometimes it's messy, but that's how it works in the real world, right? I've learned how to delegate tasks and communicate clearly, stuff you can't pick up from lectures. Plus, hearing other people's perspectives often helps me understand the topic better.
That sounds great in theory, but in reality it usually means 1 or 2 people end up carrying the whole group. It doesn't feel like collaboration. It feels like freeloading, and I'm paying too much intuition to be doing other people's work. What makes it worse is that professors rarely intervene when they see uneven contributions. They just grade the final product and assume everyone participated equally.
Exactly. I'd rather be graded on my own effort. At least that way, if I fail, I know it's on me. In a group, Your effort can be completely undermined by someone else's lack of effort. That's just frustrating. It also creates unnecessary tension and resentment among classmates. Schools should encourage positive relationships, not force us into situations that damage them.
I get that it can be unbalanced, but isn't that part of learning to lead? Last term, I had to step up and redistribute work when someone slacked. It was tough, but I felt proud afterward. And some of my best friendships started from late-night study sessions for group assignments.
I see your point, but I still think it should be optional. Let people choose if they want to work alone or in a group. Not everyone learns the same way. And it's unfair to force collaboration on people who work better independently.
Optional would be perfect. That way people like me who prefer working alone aren't held back, and those who like groups can still get that experience. Win-win. Plus, if students voluntarily choose groups, they're more likely to be committed and contribute equally.
I guess that's fair. Maybe if professors gave clearer guidelines and checked in more, groups would work better. But I still believe there's something special about creating something together, even when it's messy.
Done. Okay. So this was the audio. Now I have taken 15 phrases already for you. I will now be sharing my phrases. Your phrases, they don't need to match with my phrases, and my phrases don't need to match with anyone else's phrases. All I again would say is I need to make sure that I try to write down the title plus 15 phrases from the audio, every phrase minimum 5 to 6 words, and it should make some sense. Okay, let's have a look at those phrases. The title, first of all, 3 students are gathered at a courtyard picnic table on a sunny afternoon. So it is again the title from the audio. Now my 15 phrases are: I was stuck doing 90% of the work. I'm a pretty organized person. Someone always misses meetings. Now over here, if for some reason you've written a phrase of 4 words, you should not panic. Okay, you are not supposed to get into a panic stage because, oh my god, I was told that I should be writing 5 words or 6 words and I've only written 4 words. That is a recommended strategy. Minimum 5 to 6 words is what you should target. But sometimes, not all the phrases by the way, sometimes if a phrase is written, let's say 4 words, but it makes sense, it is okay. It is fine. You don't need to stress about it. So over here, someone always misses meetings. Does it make sense? Yes, it does. So I am fine with it. Okay. But yes, 1 or 2 phrases like that. If all the phrases are 3-4 words, then there's a problem. Okay. Next one. It adds so much unnecessary stress. How to delegate tasks and communicate clearly. I am paying too much intuition. Professors rarely intervene when they see uneven contributions. Now, there are some phrases which are way more than 5 words or 6 words. Even that is fine because not necessarily every phrase will be 5 words. You can always write a phrase which is way more than 5-6 words. That would help you to create a balance. Okay? Then, they assume everyone participated equally. I'd rather be graded on my own effort. It also creates unnecessary tension and resentment among classmates. I get that it can be unbalanced. Some of my best friendships started from late night study sessions. People like me who prefer working alone. They are more likely to be committed and contribute equally if professors gave clear guidelines. Okay? All these phrases, every single phrase plus the title is from the audio we just heard. It is nothing that I have written of my own thinking, okay, let's do this. No. Some phrases are 5-6 words. Some phrases are way longer than that. There is one phrase which is 4 words. It's okay because I have some phrases which are bigger phrases. Creates a perfect balance. But your target has to be every phrase should be 5-6 words so that I can cross 1 minute of answering time easily without any struggle. Okay, and yes, they are all making decent sense. Okay, you need not have established any relation between 2-3 phrases. Like for example, if first phrase has nothing to do with the second phrase, that is absolutely fine. Every phrase individually needs to make sense. Okay, so let's start with our answer, which we have to make sure that we speak fluently, clearly, and the content has to be delivered properly so that we get both our speaking and listening score. So I will now speak the entire answer where I've combined my template and I've also filled my phrases. Wherever in the template you see long phrase 1 and long phrase 2, that means your phrase 1 and phrase 2 from the note taking that you have done. Okay. The group discussion focused on 3 students are gathered at a courtyard picnic table on a sunny afternoon. The first speaker began the conversation by highlighting, I was stuck doing 90% of the work and I'm a pretty organized person. They also mentioned the importance of someone always misses meetings and it adds so much unnecessary stress. The second speaker added to the discussion by mentioning how to delegate tasks and communicate clearly, and I'm paying too much intuition. They also brought up some relevant ideas, such as professors rarely intervene when they see uneven contributions, and they assume everyone participated equally. The third speaker then shared their viewpoint on, I'd rather be graded on my own effort, and it also creates unnecessary tension and resentment among classmates. They also noted how it is important to discuss. I get that it can be unbalanced, and some of my best friendships started from late night study sessions. In summary, the key takeaways from the discussion were people like me who prefer working alone, they are more likely to be committed and contribute equally, and if professors gave clear guidelines. This is how I have to speak fluently. Now, as a whole, if you pay attention to the answer, it might not be fascinating and something that impresses you a lot, but I know for sure that this is good enough to get a perfect score in listening and speaking both, because I spoke fluently, I spoke clearly, and I gave them a lot of content from the audio. I gave them title plus 15 phrases from the audio. So people like us need not stress about it because we are not just using templates and coming back. We are giving them a lot of relevant data. Okay, everyone, with this, I will take your leave. Hopefully you got an idea of what is Summarise Group Discussion in detail. Feel free to reach out to us on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp to discuss coaching in detail, and we are more than happy to help you clear these exams in your very first attempt. Thank you.